Hey, welcome to another Steve Rude Live, which will soon be not live because it's going to be taped. Now, I've been told a lot of you gold bricks, tune out after the first 5 seconds of this thing. Well, we need to put a stop to that. No, what it looks like is there's a graph that we look at, that Janelli looks at. And it starts out like this right here. Beep, and then whoa, way down there. And so some people just don't want to be stay tuned. So you're going to miss all the fun. Today is going to be animal drawing, something I promised I would do last week, but we got derailed, which often happens here at the Rude Dude Live studio here. Today's lesson will be camels. How many people know your camels out there? There's only two kinds that I know. There's the bacterian, the two humps, and the dromedaries, my favorite, because they only have one less lump to draw. One lump or two. This one's got one, okay? Dromedary camel. And there he is. These guys are funny looking guys, so I happen to like funny looking guys. What I wanted to do today was do a watercolor of camel. But no. The people smarter than I said they want to see a drawing. So we're going to do a drawing, all right? But I want to do a watercolor, and that's going to come up next time, because I'm sure in the event that we're trying to keep these shorter, like a half hour, not to bore you guys, we're going to do shorter versions than the normal here. Some of them go on for an hour, and I think people get bored out of their minds. So I'm doing something like this in charcoal, which is the drawing part of it, which I'm told you guys want to see. That's going to take about the entire half hour. So Mr. Producer is going to alert me here when it's time to stop the broadcast here. So we keep all your attention spans and don't vary off too much. So camel, this is vine charcoal. This is really puny right here. It's really light stuff. It's way too small for me to be using, but we endeavor to use what we have here. Basic shapes. Don't I always talk about basic shapes? Because you hear it from everyone. So I'm looking at the big shape of camel's belly right here. Silence animal. And then there's the hip. These guys, these goofy-looking guys, have hips like cows. And you know about cows because they have skinny feet. We're going to measure down from here to here. It's about the same from the belly to the legs right there. Look at negative space here. So between this leg right here, the way it goes over here, and this, it's no more than that much space, okay? Now I can be doing this with pretty much anything. I can be doing it with the charcoal pencil. I can be doing it with this charcoal block right here. It doesn't make any difference. Because that vine charcoal is too small, I'm just going to stick with this big block right here. Now, silence animal. So when we look at this creature, this bizarre creature adapted only for the desert, do you want airtime, Dick, or what are you doing over there? Always the Dick doing his dickerwalling. Okay. She's been taken out of the picture. We've given her special treats to make her retreat into her special quiet room. So everything I've done here is a basic shape. This is a basic shape. This is a basic shape. This is nothing more than a cylinder, right? And this right here is a modified, whatever it is. This is big oval right here. And that is the secret to drawing. There's other secrets, of course, but we do one thing at a time here as not to confuse everyone. 2 toes. We have 5 toes. Let's see, 1, yeah. 5, camel has 2 toes. 2-toed camels. Isn't there a two-tailed or two-fingered sloth? I used to call them sloths, but people don't like it when I say it wrong. So I had to correct myself. Okay, so I'm going to modify camel's foot here right here using the same basic shapes as I did in this one right here. Now I notice these knees, they come down way farther than a lot of animals. Some of them come in the middle point. These are down lower right here, quite a bit lower, in fact. But you can see, what's going on here. It's just, it starts with a line, and I've been showing you guys that for a while now. Just starts with a line. I'm using, I kind of did a chisel point here so I can get this and this at the same time. So I called it a chisel point. You just take some, okay, see this here? Take some of your sandpaper here and just rub it down so you get the right kind of thing that you want. Because it's about what you want. No one else is drawing it but you. So make sure it's what you want. I'm told we have some people tuning in from Tasmania. Say hi to the devils for me. And the thylacines. Kind of a Tasmanian blowhard. Okay, there's his two toes. They're a little too farther apart. No problem. We just grab our eraser and we correct it. Now look at that. See, I know some of you guys are really clean down there. I'm not one of them. I get this stuff over everywhere. Actually, there's a remedy for that, which I happen to have because I keep my feathers numbered for just as an emergency. There. Just put it over like this, and you're going to be okay. Don't panic. Don't go reaching for the drugs. Gather yourself. Think about it. Let's do camel's neck right here. So if I draw a line from here to that that hip bone thing, and kind of go like that, is that how it's going to go? Yeah. So, and remember you're in negative space. If I do a little circle right here or an oval, that's what it comes down to. And if I measure from the top of this thing, his front legs to over here, it comes. A camel's head is just starting to come about right here. No camels were harmed during the making of this drawing. This funny, goofy guy. So camels are almost caricatures in themselves. They look so funny. So this is what I do, guys. I mean, if you're an illustrator and you've got to do a camel, and believe me, there's going to come a time, I've already had that opportunity to do camels in my Nexus covers, as a lot of you remember here. You got to research these things. You got to do your duties and study these things, because you cannot draw anything with authority unless you actually study these things. Is a half hour up? No. Okay, we're going to keep going, even for you guys that have tuned out already. Camel has hump. So if we go across here, right about here, it's about measurements, guys, right? I mean, you all know that. Everyone on YouTube will tell you this, including the dude himself, who carves the roast beast. Camel needs an animated tail here. This is too sedate. And I have the water here just to get rid of my my fingerprints, which was actually the name of a band in the 80s. Nobody remembers them. I remember them. Let's go back to the pencil right here. Actually, let's go back to the eraser right now. Kneaded eraser, everyone knows about them. In England, they call them rubbers. We don't call them that here. So let's go back to construction right here. Is that a good camera angle? Can we see Camel's feet right here?
I think your shoulder's a little bit in the frame. That's perfect.
That's good. Oh, my shoulder. I thought you were talking about Camel's shoulder. Okay. Camel, get out of the way. So these are fingernails. I know they're made of the same stuff as whatever it is that these things are made up of. So there's Camel. What am I going to do with Camel now? See these cursive lines? You can't go wrong with them. Now Camel here is on a pretty boring backdrop, so I'm going to invent my own, like I did in the watercolor version. And I had a great big file of desert stuff, but could I find it when I needed it? No. So this is the life of frustration when you're the dude. So we have to do these according to the light source here, which is pretty much coming from the noon kind of a thing, 1 o'clock or noon. So we're just going to indicate very, very carefully, actually not carefully, we're just going to rough in the general thing of the lighting pattern on the background here on the sand dunes. I'm going to get rid of camel a little bit here. People have different ways of doing this. Some of them just go like this. And as long as our paper clips hold up there. I don't want to use, I want to clean up my lines in this stage right here. So this is stage number 1, where I blocked in the major forms. Sorry, camel. We'll get you back. So I just need kind of the barest of outlines here to continue with the tightening process. May I help you down there? Figures. That Dick's name is Pillow. Can you tell why? Okay, so you saw me do all these things right here. Now we're gonna carefully draw in as much as we can. That crazy Dick. All the proper lines right here, and hopefully do it with some distinction here. Not now. I'm in the middle of a Rothschild. That's a little off right there. Do we erase? Well, in this case we do. Yeah. Well, in this case we do. Yeah, I suppose. So camel nose comes up like this, and there's actually an area. I'm going to draw it as an oval here, or a circle, or whatever you want. I don't care. Camel's nose. All these shapes fit into themselves. And you can see how I'm using this pencil right here. If you see people drawing like this, go to the next video. All right, Mr. Fuzzy Ears. Last week I had some student come over, and I did a snow leopard for her. Super, go grab the, Mr. Producer, go grab these snow leopard. It's right way down there in the little pile of great stuff that nobody looks at. Did we find snow leopard? I did a watercolor of snow leopard. Everyone likes snow leopards. And here we go. Snow leopard. The worthless snow dick. So this is made up of just transparent and opaque watercolor. And that was fun. I worked from the same kind of thing as I've got here from these animal cards. And you know, guys, I'm always experimenting here. Watercolor is one of these things where it's I pull it off and then I don't pull it off. And I pull it off, a month goes by, disasters, and then finally we just give up all entirely here. Not that I'm recommending that, because I know you guys don't do that. This pencil's kind of light. I don't really like it. Let's go back to this darker stuff right here. I think this is, I don't know what it's called. It's just thicker, okay? We don't use big terminology here at the Dude broadcast. We look at it, see what it is, and move on. Charcoal dust. And by the way, this is on newsprint, smooth newsprint. This is the kind of stuff we used at the school I went to in Calabasas. Camel here has got this. According to the lighting, this is what the shadows look like. This leg is really weird. It actually kind of wobbles like that, which is a really interesting shape. You hear people talking about shapes all the time on YouTube, don't you? Well, I'm just another one of those guys that's going to bring it up. Camel. I think camels and cows should get together and have a convention, because they both have skinny feet. What we got going on here? So these little things like this are fun to do. For all you guys that are wondering how I get thin lines out of this big block right here, and believe me, I've worked with bigger. I've seen bigger in my day. It's all because of the way I'm holding this thing. So you look at, I'm trying to get some real subtle lines in there. But I can't do that until I have the basic shape put in first. And that's what I'm attempting to do right now. Camel. Oh, these guys are so goofy looking. Male or female? Well, we don't ask those questions in the Dude Show. We just draw them. I'm going to say with the mascara, it's probably a girl. So this is, another thing about this charcoal stuff right here. The way that the best artists in the world have been trained to use charcoal is to use it as a preliminary for a painting, like an oil painting, say. You get your tones down. The only thing that's missing is color. So let me just tell you right off the bat. This is what a lot of stuff. Charcoal is fine unto itself, obviously, but if you go back in time and look at the Howard Pyles and the Harvey Dunns and the great teachers of the world, they were all about using charcoal as a preparation thing for an oil painting. Is this guy sticking his tongue out at me? You better not. I'll cancel the drawing right now. Ah, Camel. You goofy guy. Camel here is, you can see how their noses work. When the desert wind comes blowing, they close up. Their nostrils close up like that. But when they need to not close them, they open up. Did you guys know that? Of course you did. Camel, camel, camel. We also we decided that when we get phone calls in from places like Tasmania, we take them at the half hour point. So since this is only going to be a half hour, we'll take them near the end. Okay. You see all these shapes. This is a cast shadow, so it's got a very I'm losing my mind. It's got a very tight, sharp edge. This is a form shadow, as they call them. And they're not a sharp edge. Can you see what I mean by that? Look at the camel here. Oh, camel's got a big artery going through in here. So let's kind of have this itching to put that in right now. Grab the eraser, the rubber, and we put it in. The pencil, the charcoal pencil that I was using was not dark enough for me. So it's we use the eraser, the kneaded eraser as we would use paint, like either to wipe something out or make a lighter color going into a darker color, all that kind of stuff. You guys following along here so far? Who's tuned out? Let's get them back. Yeah, we know the list. We know the viewing habits of watchers here. They tell us so.
20 minutes.
How do you like? Can you believe that? Mr. Producer just told me it's 20 minutes in and we barely got started here. That's why we're doing these things shorter this time and not longer.
We had a comment asking for you to give them homework assignments / drawing prompts and to share them on the stream and hold them accountable.
Well, I think that's a great idea. Who thought of that? It wasn't me.
The one writing in from Tasmania.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so next time this guy gets online here with this, I want to see a picture of the devils, echidnas, and platypuses, and of course did I say Tasmanian devils? Those are goofy little guys. They're as weird looking as this camel right here. A lot of guys do this right here. I do that. Just to get an overall tone. So from here, you can actually wipe stuff out. The homework idea, If you guys want to do that, then I'm all for it. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to post this camel online right here. You guys can look at it. You can render it either in pencil or charcoal. Don't do paint yet. Okay, we're going to do that next time if we actually get around to it. And send in what you've got. I'll look it over, critique them online. We'll do a separate live stream where we just talk about the stuff you guys have sent in. Okay, so look for that. Every time here in the Dude Show is a good time. There's little subtleties here. Some guys resort to pencils by this time. I should, but I'm not that smart. So I suppose we got to draw the damn feet. Yeah, remember the basic shape I told you about? It's just an oval. And these things are very flat for a reason. Animals don't have things put on them without a reason. It's all there to survive their environment. A snow leopard is not going to have feet like this because it doesn't live in the desert. It lives in the mountaintops where there's a lot of snow. This is a very flat-footed guy here, and they need to have traction in the desert sands. You guys might want to, when you think about drawing these things, if you want to be illustrator level, then you need to investigate. You need to do your research. If you don't, if I was going to be doing this for real, for an actual picture, I would have at least 2 pages entirely of camels and the different shots. I'd probably get out the How to Draw Camel book and things like that just to figure out where I'm going with stuff. I need to totally equate myself with the structure of this guy right here, this goofy looking guy. Let's pull out some highlights here. There's a little one up here. These things are tough to work with right here. Both kneaded erasers come in 2 different things. They come in really hard ones or really rubbery kind of ones. They're kind of mushy. They're kind of mushy, yeah. Okay, good thing we have our producer here looking over this stuff. Oop.
Okay, you're good.
We're good. So questions. Oh, this is kind of cool. Here's where the eraser kind of comes in. There's no end of knowledge to be learned from a dude live stream. And let's see, we have to, once you get into the little things, and this is the last stage right here, where you indicate fur, the actual thing the animal is made up of. How much fur? Is it really furry, or is it sort of furry? Or is it not very furry at all? This gets a little darker because of all this mottled kind of curly fur up here. So we're going to get on our curly hat here and draw these little guys in. Now I know there's a reason for that. You guys remember that there's nothing random in an animal and how they're built. They have a reason, and it's always because of adaptation to their environment as to why they look the way they do. This needs a darker line, and Camel's very white down there. Right, Camel? Camel says yes. Oh, this is a cool little lighter line right there. These things are fun to pick out right here. This goes a little too far, so we're going to knock that back. Mr. Producer's laughing at something. Is there a joke going on behind my back that I don't know about?
No, I just cleared my throat.
Oh, I thought it was, yeah. Okay. So the root family has its share of animals. We used to have fish, but they transpired. Their time on Earth was up, unfortunately. And nothing against fish. They're just kind of dumb. But honestly, I think some of my best friends are fish. Yeah, can you see what's going on here? So it's a combination of first grabbing this and doing the little subtleties in here that make up the curly kind of fur. Now, why is it like that? I'd have to investigate that. That's actually something I would want to know before I took on the final rendition of a camel in my illustration work. Because as I told you guys many times, to me an illustrator is the highest calling in life because it's the hardest. So that little vein thing is in shadow, so I have to go like this, but I need to pull it out with this eraser right here. And that's a little too fat, so I'm going to redo it. Shape this thing a little more precise. Yeah, that's kind of okay. We allow ourselves to be human on the Dude podcast here. You see, if you get really up close here and personal, then you're going to see the final stage. I'm going to call this the third stage of doing a charcoal drawing, for whatever reason you're doing it for. Camels are very smooth right here. They're smooth on their face, but when it comes to silence, animal, we're taking up my time here in the live stream. You hear a lot of silence going on for me. That's because of the worthless animals that invade my space here during the live stream. They always, you know them by the way. They always say meow. Those are worthless animals. This is kind of, so this is kind of the fun stuff right here. What you hear in the background is the phenomenon called dicker rolling. Soften it a little bit. So you see what I'm doing here. We're coming up to the half-hour mark. We don't have very many people calling in, except for the good people in Tasmania.
We have been getting a lot of questions in.
Oh, okay. I guess we're waiting to the final hour here before we go into that. So this is how I'm going to pull these out. You see how I'm doing that? Look carefully at what you're doing right here. It's not haphazard. If the animal has nothing haphazard built into it for its survival environment, survival in its environment, then you have to take note of these things right here. This is a light area. This is what we use the eraser for. So we got the vein down, we got different things here and there. This is a little overstated, so I'm just going to rub it. See how I'm doing that? Just rubbing it out a little bit, making it less obvious. This can be a little more smeared right here. So, Mr. Producer, if we have comments coming in, let's have them right now, okay?
Going from our first question to down. Someone's asking, Jonas is asking, how does drawing animals relate to drawing the human figure?
Well, this one of my great art teachers, Mr. Owen Campen, said, smart people look for the similarities in things rather than the differences. So if you study, what was it, animals and people? Is that it?
Oh, yeah. Animals.
Well, if you look at a good how to draw animals book, you're going to see a picture of a human being next to the anatomy of the animal. So here, very, very simply here, this is the knee. This is the wrist. Here's the foot. Here's the knee in the background here. They all have eyes to which to see. They all have a... Okay, look, I'm just going to draw a guy next to him, okay? This is a guy acting like a camel, okay? Animal, you worthless swine, take a hike. I can hear the purring from here. Okay, so, see, in the Dude broadcast, we actually show people. We don't just tell them, we show them. They're going to look a little different. Don't forget to draw your baseline in there because that's what they're all resting on. When Mr. Producer comes over here, the dicks go wild and they just want to make their crazy noises the whole time. Now, if we do the lighting here, we're going to get something like this right here. We got to keep this real simple here because we're here to explain things in simple ways. There's enough people doing the complex out there. See that? Here's the elbow. And here's the wrist. This is the wrist right here on camel. These are fingernails right here, and they're kind of dark. I know they're made up of the same stuff as our human nails. And we got some, I think this torso is blocking part of the leg to put it in shadow here. This one, of course, is in shadow. So the rib cage, the camel's got a rib cage too. And the shadows are all dependent on the time of day, of course. And what else? The time of day. And the kind of weather we have. Is it cloudy or is it sunny? It's study these things because if you're an illustrator, you're going to have to be informed about how all these things work. That's the point of learning as much as you can so you know what you're doing. And yes, it's a lifetime of study, but what else have you got to do? Okay, so we got this shadow blocking off like that. We got this guy curly hair, in keeping with camel here. Okay, so there's Mr. Camel in human form right there. We're getting a little sloppy here, but it's been a half hour, right? We're forgiven. Legs are a little short, but we modify those things with our little trusty eraser. Any more questions as we look to terminate this live stream here?
Yes. Someone was asking if you've ever used ebony pencils.
Yeah.
E-B-O-N-Y.
Yeah, I know about all ebony pencils. I started in high school with. Actually, they hand them out in grade school for some reason, and they're a very shiny. They're a very shiny graphite, and for the reason because they're shiny, you try to use, if you're working professionally for real, you don't want pencils that have a lot of sheen to them. And I don't know what really makes the sheen, but something does. And you want to kind of keep them kind of matte, if you know what I mean.
Question from Jonas. He's asking, how do you transfer from newsprint so you can do a watercolor? Or do you sketch with charcoal directly on watercolor grade or crystal paper?
Well, these are the two. Can you see that, all you guys there? Let's get a camera moving here. There I go again. Messing up my own work. Well, I just redrew it. I actually drew this first because I thought I might get around to doing it for real. No way. Maybe these things do have to be an hour. I don't know. But this fuse is in here. So every time you look at it, this is why people come back and look at what they've done. They take a break, they come back, and what they couldn't see during that time, they can see now because they came back with a fresh eye. And everyone needs to be breaks because the human mind does not work well when it stares at one thing for too long. And Dick says, I agree. So this is really good watercolor paper. Everyone talks about arches, big deal. It's all good. Any kind of professional grade watercolor paper. This happens to be Fabriano cold press. It means it's got a little bit of a texture to it. The hot press, if you put an iron on it, you would eliminate a lot of these bumps and stuff. But I've been experimenting a lot with the watercolor because you can never get too good at these things. So there you go. Guy with tail, camel with tail. That's how they line up here as far as comparative anatomy. This torso, this from having drawn these angles for so much, it's gonna slope down a little bit like that. And there's the lats, and there's all this stuff you can put in there and be fancy and impress everyone with your knowledge of ins and outs of anatomy. But it's a little different, you know, that's what happens. I did the same kind of measurements here, but when I do the watercolor here next week, which I love doing these watercolors on good paper, of course. I'm gonna examine the proportions. I don't know if these legs are just long enough or the head is too big or whatever. But before we go, I'll take whatever questions are left, and I'm going to put in camel's tail. Camel without a tail is like a drunk without a whiskey sour.
We have a question from Carlos asking, Steve, do you pay more attention to the gesture or the anatomical underlying structure?
Get the gesture down first. Don't worry about anatomy. That comes on top of the gesture. Does that answer that? Good. The gesture is all important, and that's why we do these things. We have an order to which we construct these things. These are all basics you learn in a good art school, of which I have attended many. We'll clean up camel's tail right here. No, camel, don't even think about doing your business here because I'm going to have to clean that up too.
Question from American Dishore. I hope I said that right. Been loving demo videos. Do you ever use or try to use a fixative spray for your watercolor / colored pencil work?
A lot of people talk about the spray fix that's non-permanent, you know, workable spray fix they call it. I do fixative, yeah. I mean, I'm going to put some fixative on here. In fact, I'm going to go grab it right now. There's two fixatives here that I use. This is for cheap people that want to spend less, and this is for expensive people that want to spend more. This is the fine art fixative. This is the, you know, the regular Rumbach or Krylon, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. They're all name brands, but they're all the same thing. For pastel, charcoal, and pencil. This stuff smells. This stuff does not. But camel here deserves the good treatment, so we're going to spray camel here. Sometimes when you spray fixative on, things get a little darker. Big deal. At least you got a permanent sense of the drawing being fixed, so it's not going to smear all the time. So, do we have any more questions? Will I choke to death here?
Looks like we have one more.
One more.
By Sam McClurg.
Hey, Sam.
He is asking, is there any tips on how to draw a basic animal gesture? You always talk about nailing the gesture of a figure, but how do you apply that to an animal?
Well, Sam, if you were tuning in here in the early parts, then you'll see that I did the gesture exactly as I do the human gesture. And it's all based on rhythms. This guy goes like this, camel goes like this too. So it's just about different shapes and sizes of shapes. We got to sign it. Camel wants me to sign it, so we're going to do just that. I think this is a general charcoal pencil. They're not very dark. They're like a 2B grade or whatever. So let's grab, I'm going to try to get rid of this guy. I don't think he needs to be there, but we'll sign it down here. SRRUDE, the name I've had since birth, 2024. And people never tell the year on these things. They say that like the dates, but it's not that I have to look at this thing here, but it's okay. So it's November 16th, 2024. That is our demo for today. Next time, tune in for something that's going to look like this right here. Snow leopard, these funny, fuzzy guys. And we'll be back to watercolor camel, because I happen to like camels. We'll see you next time for the next live broadcast. I think the next one's going to be a little longer, because these things just take a while, and I talk a lot. So thanks for tuning in. I'm glad to see no one tuning out in the first 5 seconds here. And we'll see you next time for another live broadcast. Take care, you guys.